Okay, now we're on air. All right, so we'll be starting the radio show in a couple of minutes. I guess after Faith Evans finishes up ruining this song. Because it's not very good.
What song is it?
God, it's called All Night Long featuring Puff Daddy.
Oh, mercy.
Huh? P. Diddy. Sean Combs. What name is he going by these days?
I don't know. Is he like changing his name about?
He changes all the time. It's Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, I don't know, Grandmaster P or whatever the fuck. He changes his name more than Prince did.
Hey now.
I wonder what name went on Prince's death certificate.
Well, I'm guessing it. Well, yeah. I was going to say, I'm guessing it would have to be his legal name, but I don't know what that was.
Yeah, exactly. Or the symbol. Because he had his name legally changed to that symbol at one point in time, right?
I don't know if he legally changed it. I don't know.
Yeah. Wish I had a co-host that could research facts like that.
I'm busy right now.
Danielle just got an offer in on house, by the way.
I did.
Full price offer. And so Danielle is busy going through the offer as our bumper music starts.
I am. I don't see anything shady in the offer. I believe it's an actual good offer.
Good. All right, you ready to go? We're going live.
Yep. Let's roll.
All right. Hello. Welcome. Another exciting edition of Tech Talk. I'm Alex, your host. In the Hangout is my co-host up in Minnesota, Danielle. Hey, Danny.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Danielle's distracted. Yeah, you're good. Danielle's distracted.
No. I'm good. I'm focusing, but here's what just happened. My Gmail about an hour ago emailed me and said something sketchy's going on, change your password. So I changed my password. But in doing so, of course, all of my auto logins for my Gmail got me auto unlogged in, one of which is my YouTube account. So I'm not logged in on the YouTubes. So I was trying to log in on the YouTubes with my new password, which I've changed from my standard password. So I had to focus on that. So it was actually show related. My distraction was.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I thought you were going through your paperwork because Danielle technically is working right now as well while she's doing the show. She's taking care of her day job too. So didn't do a show last week. Stuck at work and didn't get home until late that night. Couldn't manage a show, so apologies to everyone. But we're back tonight with a vengeance. So I'm going to start off with a little vaping news. Everyone knows I use a e-cig, and well, nobody will know this, but my atomizer of choice have always been K-Funds. They're German atomizer. I guess they're actually, I think, a Russian atomizer that are made in Germany, designed in Russia, made in Germany, it says. And I started off with rebuildables with a K-Fun. I had a K-Fun Lite K-Fun Lite Plus, and then a K-Fun Lite Plus V2. Then these K-Fun 4s came out that added I don't know, a juice cutoff and top filling. And then they released the K-Fun version 5 a couple of months ago, which have been hard to get hold of in America, but they finally became available. So I ordered one the other day, then decided to go onto YouTube to do a little research on this thing. And turns out that Svomesto, the company that make the K-Fun atomizers, have decided they're going to cater to the cloud blowing chuffing crowd. and they've kind of changed up the design of the K-Fun. K-Funs were always intended, in my opinion, for mouth to lung vapors. You vape the way you smoke, right? Draw in your mouth, take it into your lungs, blow it out, instead of this direct lung cloud blowing inhale nonsense that some people do. So with the K-Fun 5, apparently they've opened up the airflow wide open, so I'm not going to get the vape I'm expecting from it. So their response to this was to put out a little press release that said, oh, we have an inexpensive option coming that you can add to the K-Fun for mouth to lung vapors, which did become available, and it was $10 plus $5 shipping, so $15 total. So I suppose technically inexpensive, but you know what? Should have been included with the goddamn K-Fun from the get-go, because they've always been for regular vapors. And I was expecting it to continue to be for regular vapors. They screwed me and made me spend an additional $15. But that'll be here Thursday. The add-on kit will be here Friday. And I'll let you know how it goes next week. How's that sound?
Sweet. Sounds like a plan.
Good. So in the 2 weeks that we've been off, what did you come up with? Anything exciting?
Well, various and sundry things.
Well, I mean, we don't have to jump into it. I mean, have you done anything exciting? Anything happen? I don't know. Do anything fun? I got stuff to talk about that I did over the weekend.
I think I've just been working. I feel like I should have an answer to that, and I got nothing. I've been obsessing on listening to podcasts. Is really kind of my new nerdy thing.
Hey, so speaking of podcasts, I started listening to it's called The West Wing This Week. You've seen the show The West Wing, I'm guessing.
Yes.
From the started in 1999 while Bill Clinton was in office, and it's about life in the West Wing in the White House. Well, one of the actors from that show has started doing a weekly synopsis, basically 1 episode per week. He has guests in who were on the show, and they basically break down an episode per week. I started listening to that. It's quite good, pretty entertaining.
Really, I just started watching The West Wing on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, I you know how we're going to talk about this later, actually, but I watch it on Netflix, and I'm dreading the day that Netflix loses it. They lost, there's 24 is gone from Netflix. It went to Amazon. The early seasons of Top Gear are gone from Netflix, and I'm assuming they're going to Amazon because the Top Gear crew are starting their new show on Amazon. But it I just live in fear of when my favorite shows are going to get yanked away from Netflix.
Right.
So I'll watch The West Wing. Like, it's always on the go in my Netflix queue, if you know what I mean.
But
and because of that, it's like the expense of stuff like the new season of Orange is the New Black.
Right. But based on who owns the rights to them is what shows are where, right? Like which shows are on which streaming. Isn't that how that works, or no?
I would assume so, or because they bid, but I think they bid on individual shows rather than say like Hulu, right? Hulu bid on entire networks worth of shows.
Right.
NBC, CBS, Fox, and shit like that. And by the way, Hulu are about to lose a bunch of stuff because their 5-year contract is coming up for renewal, and the word is a lot of these networks will not be renewing. So if you're a Hulu subscriber, keep an eye on that because you may be losing a bunch of content, and to me that would just take value away from Hulu. And I'm jumping too far ahead now. Let's go back to the weekend. We had the runoff debates here in Rockdale County, and Just for Fun hosted those over at the VFW, and I think it went pretty well. In fact, Vernon Jones and Tanya Anderson showed up, and they debated as well. First time they've actually debated face to face, and I was able to get them both to show up and do it again. Word on the street is, because there wasn't much time, we limited the debates to 20 minutes per race. Word on the street is they're going to be willing to come back by themselves on their own, face to face, unlimited time limit. I'll ask any questions I want and sit there and just keep going at them until I get answers to the questions. I hope that happens because that will be a good open form, open free form debate where people are going to have to get specific. What do you think about that sounds
that's
pretty
awesome.
Cool, right? Yeah, I really hope that happens, and we'll see. So the debates went well. The chairman never showed up, unfortunately, and neither did Judge Mays, unfortunately. Both incumbents, both being paid by Rockdale County taxpayers, both vying to have their positions renewed for us to continue paying their salaries, and neither one of them bothered showing up. I was disappointed by that, and I made my displeasure clear. I was polite about it,
right?
But I believe the chairman's salary is $102,000 a year. At $102,000 a year, come out to a debate and answer citizens' questions.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? I'm not wrong. It just annoyed me.
They need to be available.
I think it bothered.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people showed up. There were a lot of questions submitted. We streamed it live. People had very specific questions for that race. We got more questions for the chairman's race than any other race, and one of the candidates didn't show up. So, what are you going to do? Just cast your vote accordingly, I would say. So Brexit happened last week.
Did people seem put off that he wasn't there? That the people didn't show, like people that didn't.
People were very upset that he wasn't there. People were expecting to. He never said he was going to be there, but he also never said he wasn't going to be there. When I first approached him, he said, "I'm not sure right now. Just put me down as pending." So that's what I did, and then I sent an email the day before, a couple of days before, and never got a reply to it. And he just didn't. He never confirmed. He never actually reneged. He just did not respond effectively.
Wow.
Phyllis Hatcher, who's running for post 1, was supposed to be there, and I got a very very unfortunate phone call Saturday afternoon. She had a death in her family, unfortunately, that day.
Oh.
And she had to skip the debate and go be with family, obviously, and tend to affairs. And once again, I offer Phyllis and her family our condolences. I know it's a difficult time, and we did miss you at the debate. But of course, certain things take a priority. It was okay. The debates went well. All right. So anyway, that's all that over and done with and out of the way. So when was it? Last week, Brexit happened. It was Thursday, was it? I believe it was Thursday night. The UK, the United Kingdom, or Great Britain, I should say, went to. Here's the difference, by the way. The United Kingdom is Her Majesty's territories of Great Britain and the United Kingdom. It covers places like Canada and Australia, and I believe even still India to this day, isn't it? Part of the UK. Anyway, well, whatever. Whereas Great Britain is England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and in this case, they included Gibraltar into the vote. So citizens of those countries were able to vote to leave the EU. Now, I've spent the weekend and the last couple of days listening to progressive U.S. media absolutely butcher this. And not just American media, by the way. Also, the British media have been screwing it up. And then you've got idiots like John Oliver on HBO, who live in America, by the way. He lives here. He left fucking England and came to live in America. So he's obviously not such a great fan of England. And he's over here spewing his leftist nonsense about this. And I want to get into Brexit. maybe after this first break, we'll start really talking about it and talk about why people left the EU and why I think it was the best thing they could have ever done was to leave the EU. I'll hold off on that till after the break. We got 5 minutes to kill, and that's going to be a longer than 5 minute conversation. Unless you have a couple of questions right now about Brexit, I can go through quickly before I get into the meat of it.
No, I have no
jump out at you.
Nothing quick. No.
Okay. All right. So before that, then I finally went ahead and bought that new Apple TV. And I also bought a new TV to go along with it. So the TV in my living room was one of these old CRTs, you know, the big cathode ray tubes with the glass, like a standard TV that everybody had until everybody switched to high def like 10 years ago, and I didn't bother. So I've had this CRT and I've had it since hell. I was married when I bought it. It was in fact it was the first TV I bought after I got my green card. So I bought it in 1994 and I just replaced it a couple of weeks ago. Can you believe that?
Sweet Jesus.
20 was that 22 years old? 22-year-old TV, and it was a big one. It was like 36 inches. So it was big for a cathode ray tube television. But I replaced it with a 40-inch high-def smart television, which was plenty big enough for my living room. And I got the new Apple TV to pair up to it. And initially, I get home. I didn't hook it up that day. I went to work the next day, came back that night and hooked it up. And I was initially really pissed off because the Apple TV didn't do anything that it was supposed to do. Then I realized there was a firmware update available for it. Like 2 hours later, I realized there was a software update for the Apple TV. And after I updated it, it worked perfectly. Because I fired up, I load the remote app up on my phone because I don't want to use the stupid remote that comes with it, even though I have to right now. And I'll get to that in a minute. So I load up the remote app and I'm doing stuff and it's not working. It won't even connect to the television, to the TV. And I'm thinking, oh God, Apple, not again. You've done it again. You've released something that doesn't effing work. And about 2 hours later, an alert pops up on the telly that says, oh, there's a software update available. So I update that. Then all of a sudden the remote app starts working. But I have to wait now until the fall until they release the new version of tvOS and the new version of the remote app in order to use Siri with the remote app. So right now I have to use Siri with the remote that came with the Apple TV. But I'll tell you this, it is absolutely brilliant. I can press the Siri button and say, watch HBO, and it will jump me to the HBO app and start playing the show I was watching last. And then I can say, you know, oh, watch Fox News or whatever, and it'll jump to whichever app I want to go to and just start live streaming the on-air feed, which is such a advantage or such an advancement over the Apple TV version 2, which I have in my bedroom.
Yeah.
This Apple TV version 4. I skipped the 3 for some reason. So yeah, I got the Apple TV V4 and I subscribed to Sling TV. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for people that aren't, I guess I'll explain it. So I don't have cable television. I got rid of it a long time ago. I've cut the cord. I use Netflix, Amazon. I don't use Hulu, and I use individual apps to watch TV. Well, Sling it's like an online cable TV service. You go to sling.com, you subscribe to a package. They're $20 a month. And for $20 a month, I got, shit, I'm gonna have to open Sling and look. But for $20 a month, I got like 30 channels of live streaming television, including Fox 5, my local Fox 5 channel. It includes, let me open this up and I can tell you the channels because I don't know off the top of my head. So I got Fox 5. I got Univision 34 Atlanta. So I was been watching soccer in Spanish, which is awesome. I got Fox
Nice.
Sports 1, Fox Sports 2, Fox Sports South, Fox Sports Southeast, the Outdoor Channel, AMC, FX, FXX, TNT, TBS, True TV, Comedy Central, BET, A&E, History, Viceland, IFC, whatever that is, El Rey, whatever that is, Polaris, don't know what it is, Maker, FLA something or other, HGTV, Food Network, the Travel Channel, National Geographic, Nat
You're
Geo
reading a
Wild,
list. Our show has become
shut
a
up, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. Hold on, Nick Jr., CNN, Newsy, Bloomberg, Local Now, Lifetime, Galavision, and then a bunch of Fox Sports South affiliate channels. The reason I list them all, here's the reason I list them all. That's over 30 channels of cable television for $20 a month. They have an app on the Apple TV, so I can watch all these now through the Sling TV app on my Apple TV for $20 a month. That is, I mean, that's as many cable channels as I would ever need. It covers the most popular ones for $20 a month.
That's awesome.
You got to admit, that's a pretty good deal.
It really is. Kurt bought me for Valentine's Day last year or year before this thing called a Slingbox, which is the same company. And I think I told you about it. It's hooked up to our bedroom TV, and I can log into it on my computer up here and watch the TV from my computer. So
this app basically takes the place of the Slingbox. It just streams straight to the app instead of having to go through the box. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to keep it. I know it's $20 a month. The reason I signed up is because it gave me Fox Sports. Okay, I'm going to take a step back. I installed the Fox Sports app for Apple TV. Doesn't include live streaming. It's the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever heard. Right? It lets you watch pre-recorded sports from whatever yesterday. Who wants to do that? Who wants to watch an old sport? You want to watch it live. Well, Sling TV includes Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2 in their package. I got what's called their beta package. They're testing it with the Fox network for $20 a month. I got Fox Sports so I can watch Copa America, the soccer, because the USA has been playing in Copa America, and they actually did pretty good. They're out now, but they did well. So I subscribed. This was I don't know, a week or so ago, and I have actually been watching like The Big Bang Theory on TBS. But that's it. That's all. I've been watching Fox Sports and TBS. So I still don't know if I'm going to keep this. Everything else I use an app for. If I want to watch Food Network, I use the Food Network app. CNN, I use the CNN app, and so on and so forth. And Fox News on the Apple TV, by the way, doesn't have live streaming either. It's really weird because on the iPad, you open the Fox News app, you log in with your credentials, and you stream their live feed. Same with Fox Sports. They don't have that on the Apple TV yet, and there's no Amazon Prime app on Apple TV yet, even though Amazon said a year ago it's coming. So that hasn't come to fruition. But the TV I bought, get this, Smart TV has Amazon Prime built into the television.
Nice.
So that's great, right? Yeah. So I still get Amazon Prime. I just have to switch to a different interface. Everything else I get through the Apple TV. I even have my Plex server hooked up to the Apple TV, which has come in handy because here's another setback. All the movies I ripped to my computer I use a program called Mac OS X DVD Pro or some shit like that. It was $60, and it rips your DVDs, puts them in iTunes. Apparently, I used a setting that wasn't compatible with the new Apple TV. So I'm having to re-encode all of my movies to, and it's at home doing it right now. It's just they're chugging along, converting movies. I've got about 500 of them to convert. It takes about an hour for each movie. And then I'll be able to play them on the Apple TV. In the meantime, my Plex server and the Plex app has taken up the I guess the legwork for that, because it will play them. The Apple TV itself, or at least the movie player inside of Apple TV, doesn't understand the format, but the Plex app does. So whatever. Fix that, Apple, by the way. That's ridiculous. If Plex can play them, you should be able to play them. But I'm just re-encoding them. It's a simple drag and drop process, and then my computer just sits there and works. And it's gone through, I don't know, like 300 movies so far, and it's working on the rest, whatever.
Did we miss a break?
But all in all, no, I gave myself a little extra time. All in all, gotta tell you, been quite happy. I'm having to figure out a few workarounds like the Plex and the Sling TV until Fox News get their fingers out of their butts and release proper Apple TV apps. And yeah, I've enjoyed it, and I'm actually enjoying the new television. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought
you would enjoy a new TV more than a 20-year-old one? That's crazy talk.
22-year-old. And the 22-year-old TV did exactly what it was supposed to do. It displayed an image. This one just displays it a lot nicer. So
where is the 22-year-old TV? Is it like out in the garage or something?
It's waiting
now?
to be hauled up. No, yeah, it's on a it was heavy, right? So I put it on a roller thing, and it's waiting for I need to borrow a friend's truck so I can take it to wherever you take dead televisions.
Okay.
Where do they go?
Best Buy. You used to could take them to Best Buy. I don't know if they'll still. If not, take it to Best Buy and leave it on the sidewalk.
Well, no, that's like littering. I guess I should try and find a place, a recycling center or something. They'll take an old CRT. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. Got a new telly, and it's quite nice.
Super exciting.
Oh, it was cheap as balls. I got it at Best Buy on sale for like $200 for a 40-inch high-def TV.
Holy cow!
That's the only reason I bought it. I would have quite happily lived with my 22-year-old TV until it was 30, but this thing was $200. A smart 1080p smart TV, 40 inches for $200.
Wow. Yeah, you couldn't afford not to buy that. That's crazy.
Yeah. And paired up with a new Apple TV, it's been perfect. I may now have to get a high def antenna and maybe get my local channels over the digital antenna. And if I can get Univision that way, I can still watch Copa America and get rid of Sling TV. Yeah, screw you. And then wait for Fox to update their apps, you slack bastards, I swear to God. Or of course I can just open the app on my iPad and use AirPlay to send it to the TV, but that's too much of a faff. It's actually quite simple, but it honestly is. For a man that just had a 22-year-old television, that's a bit of a faff.
That's like too many finger touches, because you're not even pushing buttons. You're like just touching things.
Yeah, it's annoying. Plus, I like to be able to do things on my iPad while it's going to the TV, and if I'm using AirPlay, I can't do that. Oh, here's another nice feature. I opened up YouTube on my iPhone, and a new icon appeared up in the status bar, and it was for streaming to my smart TV. My smart TV apparently supports YouTube streaming from any device that's running the YouTube app. There's so much I've missed out on. Swear to God. Tech Talk, and I had no idea this shit was going on.
Imagine that
we
with
are going
your
to take a
22-year-old TV.
I know. It's about time, I guess. It was time. I thought I have a one of those fancy digital televisions in my bedroom, right? I thought, man, the technology can't really have changed that much, and it has. And that thing's only 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, things have changed a lot in 4 or 5 years. We're going to go to break. When I get back, I'm going to bitch about, well, actually, I'm going to celebrate Brexit and bitch about the media. All right, we're on a break.
We have one of those humongous tube TVs in the garage. Yeah, it's redunculously huge. Kurt's had it since, like, I don't know, the mid-90s.
Mm-hmm.
He just said, how much, baby? He says it weighs 410 pounds.
That's crazy. So it's like the big screens that Keith used to get.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
The big rear projection tallies.
Yep. But we use it. It's out with the elliptical, so we can watch TV whilst working out.
Mm.
That's what I was wondering, if that's where your TV went.
No, my elliptical's actually in the it's not in my living room, but it's in a room next to the living room that's big and empty. So I put it in there. So I can watch TV now from the elliptical. I was setting the iPad up and just watching the iPad. Now I just flip on the TV and control it from my phone. It's been working out great. I should have done this a long time ago.
Done what?
But whatever. I don't really. I'm not a TV guy.
Oh, dude.
I still generally go into my office and sit there with my iPad in my lap and watch on my iPad. Is that weird?
What'd you say? Sorry.
It's not. I say I still find myself going into my office and watching on my iPad in my lap. I'll sit at the computer doing stuff, and my iPad will be sat there, and I'll just watch like Netflix or something on my iPad.
I'm not a judge of that. I mean, I am not one to say what's weird, because you know me.
Well, I mean, where do you do most of like your binge watching? Is it on a portable device or on a TV?
On the computer that I'm looking at you on right now, like in my office. On, I have another screen open. I'm pointing like you can see what I'm doing, but I have a second screen open on my computer screen, and Netflix or Hulu or something is running on it.
Okay.
All the time while I'm working on one screen. So like, you know what I mean? Like it's one computer screen, but within that screen, I have one window open.
A window. Yeah.
Yes.
You got a window for Netflix while your app is open over here.
Remember
I know exactly what you mean.
The month that I used up all the internet. Remember the month I used up all the internet? That's why, because I stream all the time while I'm working.
Speaking of which, with this new setup, because I'm streaming, because now I am actually streaming high def, my bandwidth usage has shot up. I'm going to go way over the 300 gigabytes this month. However, Comcast upped my limit to 1 terabyte. So again, this was like Comcast increased my monthly usage limit to 1 terabyte, and I estimate I'll hit about 500 gigabytes a month streaming all these high def shows now to my TV. So I should still be safe, and it should leave me plenty of bandwidth for messing around with iPads and iPhones and shit like that. So how cool is that?
That's awesome.
I'm quite happy. Yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm up to actually it's the 28th. I've had this just over a week. I think I've had it for 8 days, and I've used, that's actually not bad. That's 100 gigabytes in 8 days.
100
and I've been watching
gigabytes in 8 days.
Sports. Yeah, and I've been watching a lot of sports, a lot of soccer, rugby, and cricket. So that's actually not bad. That's that's going to be less than 500 gigabytes a month.
Yeah, I think
so. I should be well within. I'll be well within my quota.
500 gig a month. That's a lot, isn't it? I want to say we use 350.
Yeah, it'll be a lot. I was using about 150 to 200 a month.
Gotcha.
And it's gonna more than double that, streaming all this high def to the Apple TV.
Yeah, I don't do anything like all my stuff is low rate.
Yeah, well, I had my Netflix set to low rate, and I actually increased the quality just for the Apple TVs, so it looks better on the high def screen, and it does look really good. I should warn Ashley because she piggybacks on my Netflix. And now she's going to be getting a higher bandwidth stream.
Oh, yep.
That may affect her usage. I should let her know that.
Hey, did you get back into MediaCom with the other password?
Yes.
Okay. And do you still get the channels you need?
Yeah, I haven't actually used it in a while.
Okay.
'Cause I've been
Let me
using
know if
apps.
you, huh?
Because I use the apps generally. You know, if I want to watch ESPN, I'll open the ESPN app. I don't
Right.
log into the DirecTV app.
Right.
But yes, I've been able to log into all the apps.
Okay. Well, because I'm gonna text you. Just because Kurt will be like, why is that out on YouTube?
Mm-hmm. Okay. I warned her.
See if this makes any sense at all. So my sellers want to accept the offer and not counter.
Your seller what?
Wants to accept the
Your buyer
offer and
what?
not counter at all. Like, no.
I wouldn't either, especially when you said what a good offer would be. I mean, what you got was a fantastic fucking offer.
But it's the first offer. Like, that's a starting point.
Whatever.
I want at least
full price.
No, they offered full price and asked us to pay closing costs.
Less
So they
closing.
actually asked. They offered,
but you're looking at a few
3%
grand.
below full price. So I want to counter back and say,
so
if
you're
you
looking
want
at 3
closing
grand.
costs, huh? Yeah,
So you're looking at 3 grand.
yeah. So I want to counter back and say, you know, we've only been on the market for 5 days.
Oh, we're going back live.
Okay.
All right, we're back. All right, so let me talk about Brexit. Well, first of all, let's explain the EU. So EU and Europe are two different things. Europe is a collection of countries that make up a geographic region. The EU is a group of 27 or 28, I should say, of those European countries that make up a central government called the European Union. Imagine the United States of America being governed by the federal government. That's what this is. The EU is the central government that governs these 28 nations. Great Britain just voted they joined in 1947, and they just voted Thursday to leave this centralized communist government. Did you notice how I slipped in communist there?
I did see how you slid that right in there.
Right. So let me explain how the EU works, and maybe people will begin to understand why the people of Great Britain voted to leave. And it's an issue of sovereignty. Now, England, obviously, Great Britain have their own government. It's the Parliament, the British Parliament. It's made up of the House of Commons and the House of Lords. The House of Commons are elected members of Parliament, MPs. You elect your MP for your district. They go represent you in Parliament. They make laws. They pass laws. Those laws then move on to the. Those laws then move on to the. Hold on. Those laws then move on to the House of Lords to get ratified, which is similar to your Senate, and then the Queen signs them into law, or the Prime Minister and then the Queen. Well, the Queen may not actually sign them. She retains veto power over any law, though. She can veto anything, but the Prime Minister signs it into law. So that's how the British government works. In addition to that, people also elect their MEP, their member of European Parliament, who goes off to the EU in Brussels, and they serve on the European Parliament. And this is where the media have been lax in their reporting. Your elected MEP does absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. Because the EU runs a little bit differently. The EU is outrageous bureaucracy without accountability. And here's what I mean by that. You would expect your elected MEPs to make laws, pass laws, and have them signed into law, but they don't. MEPs have no power to propose a law. They have no power to change a law. They have no power to veto a law, and they have no power to override any laws. There's another group called the EU Commission, which is currently run by an awful Norwegian named Jean-Claude Juncker. Juncker, it's an appropriate name. The EU Commission are unelected, and it's generally made up of ex-politicians who lost their seats in unpopular elections and then got offered a place in the working at the EU, and then got nominated to the EU Commission by other bureaucrats. And these are the people that actually make the law. The laws are made behind closed doors. They are secret. The media is not allowed access to any of their discussions or deliberations. The media gets no access to the laws, or the citizens of the nations that are governed, by the way, get no access to these laws until they're passed. And once they're passed, they're signed into law. They are then moved on to the EU Parliament, where your elected representatives get to read them and talk about them. And that's it. That's all they get to do. They get to read them and talk about them. Imagine if Mexico made law for the United States. That law was forced upon the United States, and they were required to follow that law, and your Congress was unable to do anything about it. Your Congress was unable to challenge, veto, change, modify, or destroy any of those laws. That's the EU. That's how it works. The people of Great Britain have had laws foisted on them from above, from their bureaucratic overlords, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. These EU commissioners cannot be voted out of power. You cannot start a referendum to get them removed from office. There is zero accountability, and this is why citizens of Great Britain got sick of it. What spurred it on, the real boiling point, was the open borders laws that were forced upon Great Britain that allowed unrestricted movement and immigration and settlement from other countries. Great Britain has one of the largest welfare infrastructures. Great Britain is a welfare state. Millions upon millions of people have been flocking to England and taking advantage of these welfare programs, including the National Health Service, and driving them towards bankruptcy. While waiting lines, good luck seeing a doctor in England when you're sick. You'll be well before you get an appointment. And people in Great Britain are sick of it, and so they wanted to get the hell out. So David Cameron, the Prime Minister, who wanted to stay in the EU, while he was running for re-election, he promised a referendum, and he had to follow through on that campaign promise. Nobody thought that people in Great Britain would ever vote to leave, and they did. People are so sick and tired of it that they left. And it came as a massive shock to all of these politicians, but it didn't come as a shock to me. I would never live in England under the system they currently live under. And I happen to think it's the best thing the British people have ever done. Of course, the fear mongering is there. Oh God, the economy is going to collapse, blah, blah, blah. It's not. They're going to see a short-term blip. Actually, the FTSE and the pound started its recovery today. I thought it would take a week or so for the recovery to begin, but it already started today. Now they have to go. The prime minister. Well, Cameron is resigning. He's resigning as prime minister. There will be a new prime minister nominated. Probably it will be Boris Johnson, who led the Leave campaign, the former mayor of London. And Cameron has said he won't start the official Brexit exit proceedings until he'll wait for the next prime minister to do that, at which point Boris will go to the EU. He will enact Article 50, which is starts a 2-year process of England withdrawing. And at that point, they can start to deregulate, they can eliminate tariffs, and they can start to trade properly with the rest of the fucking world like they were supposed to. So that's what Brexit is. That's how the EU works, and that's why Great Britain have voted to leave the EU. They can now eliminate the hundreds of thousands of regulations that govern every aspect of life. They can eliminate trade tariffs, and they can trade freely with the rest of the world now. Obviously, the EU is already making threats that, oh, you're not going to have free trade with Europe. They will end up with free trade with Europe, and if it's not free, they'll hit back with oppressive tariffs of their own. You know, that's if the EU want to play this. If they want to play this, what's the word? Whatever. If they want to close themselves off from the rest of the world with tariffs, that's up to them. But they are going to continue to drag themselves down. The EU is the only economic bloc in the world that has not experienced growth over the last 10 years. And Great Britain, we're getting dragged down by that. Switzerland has never been a member of the EU, and they have free trade with Europe, and they do very well. In fact, Switzerland have the highest growth of any country in Europe, and they're one of the members that are not a member of the EU. So obviously there are benefits to getting the hell out of the EU. Juncker's already making threats, but he's a fucking asshole, and he can kiss everybody's ass. Jean-Claude Juncker, you fucking dick. And you know, in 2 years, when it hopefully the exit won't even take 2 years. Hopefully they'll draft a plan, get in place, and get the hell out as quickly as possible, so that England can actually start to experience some growth. So
because
here's how
the exit hasn't actually even occurred or started yet, right? Like the prime minister has to execute, what is it, Rule 50 or Article 50 or whatever.
Article 50. Yeah.
And the current guy's pitching a fit and won't do it. So he's leaving it to
Cameron's not going to do it. Cameron's not going to do it because he's a pansy. He's going to wait for the next prime minister to do it. So I'm hoping that'll be Boris Johnson. He'll start Article 50 and get the hell out of Europe, get the hell out of the EU. England will still be a member of Europe. They'll still be a member of the World Trade Center, the World Trade Council, or whatever it's called. World Trade Center. That was
that was
unfortunate slip of
faux
the tongue.
pas. Yeah. Oops.
Yeah. And England will do great. They'll do fine. They'll now be able to trade with Australia. Australia, part of the United Kingdom, part of the Commonwealth. England had to charge them tariffs to have trade with them because of EU regulations. Canada, part of the United Kingdom, part of the Commonwealth. England had to charge them fucking tariffs to do business with a member of their own Commonwealth. It's ridiculous. The EU are pathetic, measly, scummy, communist, wanking dickbags, and they're going to collapse. Once Great Britain has the second largest economy in Europe. Now the burden of propping up the likes of Greece and Spain and Portugal is going to fall onto Germany. The German taxpayers are already they're this close to screaming for their own referendum to leave. EU is going to fail. The EU is going to collapse, and it needs to collapse because there's no accountability to them, none whatsoever. It's a tyrant's wet dream. It really is. They get to nominate who they want to the EU Commission and make the laws that they want, and nobody can do a damn thing about it. How this hasn't happened before now is beyond me. Why it took from 1974 to this point for a nation, because Great Britain's the first country to withdraw from the EU, and why it took this long baffles my mind. I saw this coming. I left England because it was turning into a shithole because of EU regulations. People go to jail for things they say on Twitter because of EU law. That's European law that causes that. It's not British law that causes that. It's EU law. Well, now England can free itself of that tyranny. In fact, there's already been a call to loosen gun laws in England and give them back their handgun rights.
Really?
We'll see what. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll see what happens, obviously. It's going to take time. England's going to have to obviously start writing a set of its own regulations to govern certain aspects that are currently governed by, well, I actually say they should deregulate and start to grow. I say they need to cut taxes and encourage business back into England. The current Chancellor of the Exchequer said, oh yeah, now we're going to have to cut spending and raise taxes, which is the absolute opposite of what you want to do. But Osborne's not going to be there for much longer. As soon as Bojo gets in, he'll kick Osborne out and hopefully start a strong round of deregulation and tax cuts and positive growth for the country. Bring jobs back to England, and then deal with the immigration problem once you've got some growth going. But that's Brexit. And that's why the media has been annoying me, because they haven't been telling the truth. They haven't been giving facts. They've been using rhetoric and vitriol because they're backing up their president. The president went over to England and threatened the British people and said that Great Britain will go to the back of the queue when it comes to trade deals. Well, guess what? England hasn't had a trade deal with the United States since 1974. Since it's been a member of the EU, and it's never needed one. We still trade with America. The difference now is we'll be able to lift the tariffs. We'll be able to remove the tariffs that restrict trade. We'll be able to open up trade with America. And 3 days after the Brexit vote, America said, oh, this isn't going to change anything. Our special relationship with the UK is going to continue, and trade's going to continue just like it has and probably get better. The president went over there and made idle threats to try and keep these people stuck in a socialist, totalitarian, I say communist regime. It's communist when you don't get to make your own damn laws. It's communist when you don't get to elect your own fucking leaders. That's communism, plain and simple. If that's how the other 27 remaining countries want to live, fair play to you, go for it. But you are going to collapse, you are going to fail, and you're going to have no one to blame but your own lazy asses. We'll be back after this break. There's my Brexit rant.
That wasn't bad. That was very informative. So why the hysteria? Why is it ignorance that people are thinking that
ignorance? People that wanted to stay, people that wanted to stay in Europe were so convinced that stay was going to win that they had no idea what the ramifications of a leave vote were. So they hadn't even looked into it. They hadn't been listening. And So, the media here has been making oh, well, the most searched term was, what does it mean to leave the EU? Well, yeah, it was, because, those people that had never dreamt for a second that they were going to leave have been Google searching, well, what does it mean now we're leaving? Well, what it means is unprecedented growth. If you actually look at fact, rather than listening to the hyperbole, and you actually look at the facts of what happens when nations deregulate and open their borders up to trade, the net result of that is unlimited growth. Look at Germany after World War II, after World War II, when their new chancellor took over and deregulated everything that the Nazis had taken control of and regulated the shit out of. He came in, privatized, deregulated, and look at the unsustained growth that Germany experienced after World War II. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's just one example. That's just one example. Sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I saw a Facebook meme warning that what's happening to world markets now in the wake of Brexit is just a foreshadowing of what will happen if Donald Trump is elected here.
Yeah, it's absolute bullshit.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I said, listen, there's going to be a short-term blip. I expected markets to take a week or two to start to recover. They started recovering after 3 days.
Right. Well, and it's uncertainty. Every time uncertainty does that to the world markets every time without fail. And
put it this way, it's the same. It's the same U.S. bankers and speculators that drove us into a recession are panicking in Europe because nobody was prepared for an exit vote. They were so damn sure that Great Britain, the people of Great Britain, were going to choose to live as slaves to their EU gods. They were so sure that was going to happen that they didn't make the right moves in advance. Okay, they should have got their money out of Europe. They should have started investing heavily in Great Britain, ready for this deregulation that's about to happen, and they would have been fully prepared, and they didn't. They were yanking their money out of Great Britain. They're thinking, oh no, the worst is going to happen. Of course, by yanking their money, the worst happened, and now they're realizing, people are starting now. Wait, a few days later, you know what? We just lost $3 trillion by pulling money out of Europe's second largest economy. And where exactly are we going to put that money? Are we going to put it into Greece? Are we going to put it into Spain, Portugal? You know what? We better go back to England because they're about to grow and grow and grow. And for me, it was all predictable. In fact, I predicted every bit of it. I don't think. I think. Say what?
I said, yeah, you did.
Yeah. I was on Scott's show in the morning talking about it before the vote even happened, and I said exactly what would happen if they vote to leave. I talked about the stock market hit and then a recovery, and I said it will be short term, and it is just merely short term. It's going to fluctuate. The EU Commission, Juncker, is going to do his best to screw things up for the people of Great Britain. He's going to use as incendiary comments to try and hurt the UK economy, and it will work with speculators. They'll panic for 10 minutes, and you'll see fluctuations. But from this point on, it's nothing but growth for Great Britain. As soon as they implement Article 50, start to deregulate and open up their damn borders to actual industry and trade, and honest to God, free open trade, that's when they're going to start to see their economy grow and stop being dragged down by Europe.
Right.
Or by the EU, I should say. But yeah, the people that wanted to stay, they're pissed. We want a do-over. There are no fucking do-overs, guys. This was it. That was your chance. You should have got off your lazy asses and gone and voted. The people who were motivated, the ones that wanted to leave and take back their sovereignty and take back their rights and live as a free nation, They're the ones that were motivated to get up off their asses and go vote. You people that wanted to stay, you're fucking lazy. That's all there is to it. And you lost. And that's what they're trying to do here. They're trying to use that now as a rallying cry for Hillary Clinton voters and say, oh my God, look what'll happen if Trump wins. I have no doubt that the stock market will take a hit the day Trump is elected. But you know what? It took a hit the 2 times Barack Obama was elected. It took a hit the 2 times George W. Bush. The stock market historically takes a hit the day after a general election because of the uncertainty involved with the transition and anything and the new administration. Of course, the progressive media in this country is going to use it to scare up fear toward Donald Trump. I don't blame them. I would be doing the same thing. Now we have from now until November to watch the UK, to watch what happens to their markets in 4 short months. And that's all it's going to take for them to start seeing some good growth. As people realize, as investors realize what this actually means, which is free, open trade and new policies, being able to set their own tax policy, being able to eliminate tariffs on imports, being able to trade freely with Japan and China and the United States and Australia and India, all these massive, major industrial nations that are currently hurt, that are currently slapped with big import tariffs. Now they can have free trade with these countries. Now we can export to them without tariffs because everybody has punitive tariffs, right? If the EU implement tariffs on India, India are going to implement tariffs on the EU. Now those can be lifted. We can have free, honest to God trade. There won't be restrictions or quotas or ridiculous regulations that require fucking umbrella makers in Japan to eat pizza at lunchtime. England don't have a trade deal with Australia because tomato growers in Italy are holding it up because of some stupid fucking regulation that affects them. It's that literally is true, by the way, and it's that fucking ridiculous being a member of the EU. England didn't have a trade deal with Australia, a member of the Commonwealth, a member of the United Kingdom, because of tomato growers in Italy.
What?
Well, there's a big British middle fucking finger to you, Junker. Yeah, okay. I mean, is that not the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? Tomato growers in Italy.
Yeah, I don't even get it.
That's a deal. That's a trade deal, a trade agreement that's been in the works for 8 years that the EU hasn't been able to get past because they use protectionist policies to protect failing European industries and can't get fair trade deals because of those protectionist policies. England the Great Britain are so much better off out of it. And Scotland will soon realize how much better off they are out of it. They're panicking right now. They're a bunch of scaredy Scots at the moment.
Are they?
I'm gonna hashtag that, scaredy Scots. Yeah, they're a bunch of panicky little.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not nice.
Why?
Scaredy Scots. That's not nice.
But yeah, they're calling for another referendum now to leave the United Kingdom so that they can become an independent nation.
Are they really?
And maybe they will. Maybe they should.
Did you just write down scaredy Scots?
They want to remain in the EU. They are under the impression that it's beneficial to them to remain a member of the EU because they honestly believe that they will not have trade with the EU. You will have trade with the EU. You'll have trade with the EU the same way America has trade with the EU, the same way China and Japan have trade with the EU, the same way Switzerland has trade with the EU. It's ridiculous how stupid some people are when it comes to the mechanics of this. Oh my God, we won't have trade deals. No, the U.S. doesn't have a trade deal. Do you trade with the EU? Does the U.S. trade with the EU? Of course they do. All right, we'll move on to some technology. Any comments in the chat?
No. Mike was making faces at me.
Mike was?
Yep.
Did Michael learn anything about Brexit?
He didn't. I mean, he's literally making faces at me, and I made some faces at him. That was the extent of the conversation.
Ask him if he learned anything about Brexit.
You just asked him, dude. He can hear you.
That's a valid point. That's a valid point. He can't hear me. See, I'm thinking he's listening on the radio and not in the YouTube, and he can't hear me during a break. All right, we're back. But yeah, he's watching on YouTube, so he can hear what I'm saying during breaks.
Right.
Yes. So that was genius. All right, let's talk about what we're going to talk about in technology. I already talked about the Apple TV, and so let's talk some more about cord cutting, shall we?
Sure.
Cutting the cord, because Scott wanted to hear about that. And then we'll talk a bit about security, because I have a thing coming up Thursday, which I'll tell you all about.
Perfect.
So yeah, I cut the cord. No cable. I have an internet connection. Comcast recently increased my available bandwidth usage to 1 terabyte each month. It went up from 300 gigabytes, which is a good thing, because with this new TV and Apple TV, I've been streaming more high def stuff. In fact, everything's been high def, so my bandwidth usage has gone up. It hasn't gone up as high as I would have expected. I think I figured out it's going to still be less than 500 gigabytes a month usage. Now, think about this though. That's for me. I live alone, right? That's one person watching one person's quota of television. If there were, say, 4 people in my house and everybody was streaming at the same time in high def, you could quite easily, I think, blast through that terabyte of data. You would have to pay attention to settings. You would have to set your quality settings down quite a lot, I think, in a family of 4 to be able to stay within your quota.
Do what now?
Your available bandwidth each month. Were you not listening?
Kinda.
Were you listening?
Not very well.
Okay, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep going.
Well, so you stopped talking like I needed to comment, and I had no comment. Sorry.
Okay, but why don't you have a comment? You're a co-host. You should always have a comment.
I know. I really should.
So anyway, if you are a family of 4, if you're a family of 4 or even 2 or 3, and you're planning on cutting the cord, pay attention, very much pay attention to your bandwidth usage with your ISP, be it UVerse or Comcast or whomever. Find out what your allowable usage is per month. With Comcast now, it is 1 terabyte, which is quite a lot of data. With UVerse, I believe you're still limited to 250 gigabytes a month in some areas. However, with UVerse, if you're watching television on like through their box on the TV, that does not count towards your streaming data usage, because all of UVerse TV comes in over the internet. Danny, I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that,
but it does. It's all streaming.
Oh, I did know that. My mom has
that. It does not count towards your 250 gigabytes. However, if you start watching TV on your iPad, it will count towards your 250 gigabytes of data usage. So keep an eye on that. The options for cord cutting. You need an internet connection, obviously. That's number one. Mine is $50 a month. I also have Netflix, which is $10 a month. So there's $60. Amazon is $8.99 a month. We'll call it $10. There's $70. Amazon Prime is $100 a year. Now I think it's gone up to 120. So there's 80, not for me because I piggyback on Danielle's.
I think
So
it just
there's
went
80
up to
bucks a month.
100. I think it just went up to 100.
100?
I
Okay.
think, yeah.
So well, again, I'm just going to say, I know it's less than $10 a month, but I'm going to say 10. No, actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to say right now I'm up to $66, right? No, 50, 10 for Netflix, 8 for Hulu, 60. So $76 a month for those four services. And my Sling TV, which I just got signed up to, is $20 a month. So there's $96 a month to cut the cord. Now, Scott was saying today that, and that doesn't include access to any premium channels. Sling does. Sling has access to some channels. But your other cable channels you used to, you won't have access to. You still, in order to watch those, you'll still need some kind of provider credentials to log in, a username and password for AT&T or a username and password for Comcast or DirecTV. To watch those. So I'm up to $96 a month to cut the cord and have a decent array of programming. But compare that to what Scott's paying for Uverse. Scott is paying $277 a month for all of his Uverse bills. So that's his internet and TV programming. So there's a huge potential savings there every month. And it could be a lot cheaper. Like I said, I'm probably not going to keep Sling TV especially as soon as Fox Sports. Now, okay, I guess I should add this. I use somebody else's cable credentials to log in to be able to watch Fox Sports. So that's not necessarily the right thing to do, but it's what I do. But I'll cut that $20 out. I'll be back down to $76 a month for programming. But
if you were not using somebody else's cable credentials, if you were just going like straight up what it costs, what it would cost to cut the cord, does Sling TV replace that? Is that what we're saying?
Sling
for the most part
is a partial replacement for your cable TV. That list of channels I read at the beginning, all those Fox Sports, CNN, stuff like that, you'll have access to the main channels. But some of those channels that you might like to see, the obscure channels, you may not have access to. But Sling TV provides access to most of the main ones. You won't get your VH1. You won't get your Golf Channel and shit like that. But Sling is a decent replacement for $20 a month, I think. And if I didn't have access to that program in another way, I would just keep Sling TV. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll do the right thing and keep Sling and have my own credentials. Then Netflix and Hulu, obviously, your programming. Hulu has a lot of your network TV stuff, which you can watch. Netflix, of course, movies and blah, 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 and Amazon movies and TV. Netflix and Amazon are even starting to get some TV shows the day after they air, the way Hulu does. Even their content is becoming more accessible to people. So cutting the cord is more, there's more choice available to you. It's more accessible than ever. And it's not cheap, but it's a lot cheaper, I think, than the cable TV alternative. But things may be about to change. Your content choices may be about to get lower. Like I said, Hulu was started with a collaboration of 5 main networks who agreed to provide all of their or most of their programming to Hulu, and it's owned. The thing itself is owned by a share of these networks. Now, their 5-year deal is coming up for renewal this year. And word on the street, as they say, is that a couple of these networks are not going to renew, and Hulu is going to lose that programming. I believe Fox, okay, don't quote me on this, but I think Fox and CW are 2 of the networks that are planning on pulling out of Hulu. which means you will lose access to all that programming, which makes Hulu a lot less valuable to its users, if you ask me. Now, I'm sure they'll work out a deal and get something going, but I imagine that deal will end up in a price increase for Hulu subscribers. And all of these services are only going to get more and more expensive over time as these content providers get more and more greedy, which is what they do. They get greedier and greedier every year. And ESPN especially. The reason that Sling TV can offer me 34 channels for $20 a month is because there's no ESPN. And ESPN on your cable bill is like 40% of your cable bill. Remember that. ESPN get 40% of that money. That's how much they value their service. So as providers get greedy or demand more, I guess, for their product, the more it's going to cost you in the long run. And that doesn't appear to be changing. The prices content providers are demanding are going up every single year without fail as their programming gets worse and worse and worse. It's all fucking reality TV these days, and they demand more money for it. And it's crazy to me. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I don't know why people continue to pay for it. So yeah, for cord cutters, your access to content it's going to vary. It's going to fluctuate. As deals expire, you're going to lose content, just like Netflix. Netflix have a bunch of content that's about to get pulled off, but they also have new content that's added each month. I have a story here of the content that's coming to Netflix this month. Included in it are the Back to the Future movies, which 6 months ago were on there. I'm guessing they got yanked off and now they're about to go back on. Content gets removed from Hulu and added back to Hulu on a regular basis. Let me see what's leaving. I'm going to go to, I want to see if The West Wing is being yanked off of Netflix this month. There is a lot of content coming off Netflix in July.
Is there?
Oh, yeah. Holy wow. If you're a Star Trek fan and you like Netflix, you better watch all your stuff before July 1st because it's all going away July 1st. It's getting yanked. Star Trek 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and Star Trek Generations are getting yanked off of Netflix as of July 1st. Let's see. Amazon Prime has a fair bit of content coming in July. Amazon Prime is getting the Star Trek movies. They're being removed from Netflix and they're being added to Amazon.
Funny.
Isn't that funny?
Yes.
In fact, it looks like a lot of the stuff that's being taken off of Netflix is moving to Amazon. Those two are in a fight, obviously. That's weird. Oh, there's a whole list of here what's coming to HBO. Oh, The Bourne Ultimatum coming to HBO. Sweet. I'll have to watch that. And then there's HBO Now, all the stuff that's coming and going. You can get these lists each month, by the way, so you and get them in advance so you can see what's going to happen to your streaming services. But be aware that your content availability is going to vary. Like I said, some of my favorite shows have been yanked off of Netflix. They're on it. They've gone generally to Amazon. 24 got taken off of Netflix. It's on Amazon Prime, so I can watch it there. The problem with that is Amazon Prime's interface, I think, is terrible. Netflix interface is so much better. Amazon Prime, you've got some work to do there, Amazon. Fix that shit. But that's the drawback, is availability of content. When you have your cable service, you generally have all your channels and everything's available on demand, and they have all these license agreements in place, and you can generally find your content there. You give up a lot of that convenience to cut the cord, but in general, whatever you need is available. Fat Mike uses a service called I don't know what it's called, but he's able to. It's I guess technically a legal streaming service, but he can watch all of his TV shows and shit through there. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like
that's because God probably just thumped you in the brain for calling him Fat Mike. That's not nice. We don't refer to
knows
our
he's
friends
fat.
as
It's
fat
not a-
anybody.
It's
He
not a
doesn't
shock
eat-
to him.
He doesn't eat 12 slices of pizza. He only eats 8.
What's his name? What's his nickname?
He's not a fat gutty.
Oh, dude, he's a way fat gutty. He's losing weight though. He's in a bet with fucking oh Christ.
See, you got Godsmacked.
That's
That's what you get.
I just lost my brain. Whatever. Oh God, he was a co-host when we were doing Guns and Gadgets, and I can't remember his goddamn name. Can't remember his name.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens.
Whatever. Anyway, Mike's in a bet with him about who can lose the most weight in a year or some shit like that. So he may not be Fat Mike for too much longer. He may just be Husky Mike.
In it, man, I can.
Uh-oh. Oh, there's a call. Welcome to Tech Talk. Let me guess who this is. No, I'm not going to guess. Who is it?
It is me.
It's Husky Mike.
Hi,
There you
Mikey.
go.
Okay.
And
What's
the guy's name will be Tyler. not
Tyler.
Mike.
Tyler, thank
I'm
you.
a little bit slimmer than him.
Oh, this
This is Jeff.
This is Jeff. I was going to say, this isn't Mike. This is Jeff.
There you go.
Yeah. What's going on, Jeff? How are you?
Not much. You were struggling for Tyler's name, so
Yeah.
I figured to help you out with it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
You're
Tyler.
quite welcome.
God. Yeah. So Mike Danielle is in a bet with Tyler to lose X amount of weight in X amount of months. And I think the bet's $100 or $200 or something like that. Does that sound
And
about right?
neither one of them are going to. Yeah, it's something. I thought it was like 60 days or something. Neither one of them's going to pay up. But
Yeah.
if it makes them healthier, good for them.
Exactly. Good on him. Mike said he's already lost some weight. I can't remember how much. So
Chasing down Scott all the time.
that's what it is. And talking of chasing down Scott, he just went blasting through the studio for some reason. Not sure what's going on there. Through the studio and out the door. Oh, he may have just taken the dog out. So what's been up with you, Jeff?
Same old, same old. I've been listening to your talk about the internet providers and all the streaming and Hulu and all that. I just want to comment. I just think it's interesting that they all promote, hey, for $19.99 you can get 700 channels on your television. You may have 700 of them, but like 620 of them are the same show.
Yeah, that's right.
Playing on the same channel.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, what's the point of paying for that much of them? I mean, you don't. Then who can actually watch 700 channels?
Well, I mean, obviously.
Unless you're like Mike.
Yeah, and it is.
Like
you're right.
Mike, so.
It's all the same thing. That's one of the nice things about Sling TV is it's 34 channels and nothing is duplicated, and I like that. It's
I do.
useful.
Like back in the day when you had like home HBO and Showtime paired up, and the movie channel and the other whatever premium show channel there was, they both kind of paired up, and you got a package. You got either one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got that package, both of the premium channels were playing the exact same movie all the time.
Right. That's right. That's right. And
So
and after midnight, they all switch to paid advertisements anyway. It's all infomercials and crap like that. Yeah. Cord cutting, I think is a good option for some people. It may not be the best option for a large family because of the bandwidth requirements, and especially speed wise, not only the amount of data used, but the throughput that's required for, say, 4 high definition streams at one time. Your internet connection may just not keep up and you'll get choppy video. So and
that's why I was
go ahead.
That's why I was talking to Bree about it when you were talking about how it would slow down your bandwidth and all that if you're like sitting at home and you're watching on your iPad and stuff. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, I'm old school. I mean, if you're at home and you got this 52-inch TV in front of you, why are you watching on your iPad?
It's because honestly, it's what I'm used to. It's strange, I know, but it's what I'm used to. Like I said, my TV was 22 years old. I just replaced it with a high def telly And while I do like it, I'm in the habit of going to my office, sitting at the computer, having my iPad playing, just like Danielle watches in her office while she's working on her computer.
I mean, I can understand in your industry, your scenario. If you're always around a computer or having to be around the computer, I can understand that part of it. But I leave work. I bring, except for like tonight, I brought work home with me, but it's all paperwork. So I can turn and look at the TV right in front of me, do my paperwork, and get that big TV in front of me.
You're absolutely right. It's like I say, cutting the cord. It's not for everyone. But what do you have? You have Comcast?
To be honest, I don't even remember. We switched like 3 times since we've been here.
Okay. Do you have an idea?
I think it's Xfinity is what we have.
Yeah, that's Comcast Xfinity. And do you have a rough idea of what they charge you each month and what you get for that money?
To be honest, I really don't. Bree handles all the bills, all that mess. So I would have no idea. I know I can come home and do whatever I need to on my phone and connect, and so
yeah. Now,
I mean, it seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, I have 100 megabit connection at the house, internet speed. It's really fast, and with that speed, I could do 4 high def streams at one time. But you then have to look at data usage and overages, because with 4 high def streams going constantly, I'm looking at over 1 terabyte of data, I'm sure, per month. And then I'm looking at overages, X amount of dollars per gigabyte over my limit and shit like that. So yeah, if you have a big family,
it'll add up.
Oh, it will. It will. And I think you could quite easily come close to hitting what you're already paying for some cable subscriptions, because they're not all $277 like Scott's. I see bundles, $99 a month for cable and internet, right? I see bundles like that. And I'm actually rapidly approaching that level. The added advantage to me, though, everything I have is mobile and portable, and virtually every service I use is included in T-Mobile's Binge On program, which means I can stream the video without it counting against my cellular data, including Sling TV. Right. So now I can take I'm using air quotes, now I can take my cable TV with me everywhere I go and watch it without using any cell phone data and without getting any overages or slowdowns or anything like that. I don't get that with T-Mobile anyway, but if I did, I could avoid all of those. So I think that's pretty awesome. That's primarily the advantage to me is portability. I want my stuff to be portable. If I wasn't concerned about that, for $99 a month, I'd probably just have a cable subscription at the house, a bundle. Right. And go from there. So you really have to weigh your needs, right? You have to you weigh your usage, your needs, and if you're a family that watches TV at home, cutting the cord may not be the best bet. If you're a family that's quite mobile, cutting the cord probably would be your best bet. I don't know.
I thought about going back to flip books, where you flip the book in the corner and you got the scenes and all that.
Yeah.
I thought about it because I'd never get to the TV.
Mm-hmm. I
mean, there's only 3 of us here, my wife and my youngest stepdaughter, and I never get to the TV, and they laugh at me because I can't figure out the remotes. I never get to the TV. I never get to the TV and can't figure out. We get like 5 of them to work one TV. I'm going, that's just insane.
That's funny. But, I used to be that way because I used to have the TV, the DVD, the receiver, and I was juggling remotes. With this new setup, this new TV and the Apple TV remote will turn on and off the main TV. Just with one press of one button, it turns on the Apple TV, it turns on the main TV. I can adjust the volume and then turn it all off with just one remote and control all my channels through the Apple TV. That is, that's kind of awesome, to be honest.
That really is. I mean, I know we got one remote that kind of controls somewhat everything, but then you have to we got a remote for the Roku and all this other mess. I'm like, I'm in the dark with it all. I mean, just completely in the dark. So if I want to watch something, I pass it off to my stepdaughter. Here you go. You're like 30 years younger than me. You figure it out.
Mhm.
Oh, here you go. Pushes the button. There I go. There's my channel. I'm like,
There's your
sweet.
channel. But then you're left. Then you're left fighting with everybody about what you're going to watch.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's a free servant. You know.
Yeah, it's true.
Hey, go get my beer. You got my channel going.
That's right. Yeah, that's absolutely
Good
true.
evening, Danielle. By the way,
Hi there.
how are you? You're doing this remotely, huh?
Yes, I am. I am in Minnesota.
Oh, enjoying the weather up there?
Yeah, it's actually quite nice now. It's about 70 degrees. It's sunny. It's quite lovely. It was like 50 yesterday. But today is nice.
That's better than the 98, 99 we've been hitting.
Yeah, it's been miserable here, Jeff.
Is it?
It really has. I actually heard on the radio yesterday on the way in that in the history of them keeping track of temperature.
I think we just lost Jeff. Yeah. Well, we're on.
I'm still here.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there you
Okay.
are.
I was going to say we're on a break anyway. You can call in after the break, but you're still here.
No,
so
that's all right. I'll just keep listening. Y'all have a great day. You have safe travels back, didn't y'all?
All right, brother. Thanks for
All right,
calling.
brother, thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye.
See ya. All right, we are going to go to a break. Figure out what we're going to talk about. Oh, we'll talk about this security thing that's coming up Thursday.
Yes.
Which I need to start promoting, I guess, because I'm going to be a guest speaker.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
And
snazzy.
I got a email the other day from the chairman of the Rockdale County GOP, wants me to come in and lead a discussion on Brexit as well. So
Yeah.
I'll be going back. I thought the GOP hated me after the last time I went and spoke to them, but they've invited me back to lead a discussion on Brexit. So I'll be able to go through that whole rant again. How much
Nice.
fun will that be? Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll wait until we get back so you don't have to listen to it twice.
No, now I'm anxious to hear.
Oh. Yeah, well, now you can wait.
Dang it.
Who's watching the video? Do we know?
No, we don't. There were 4, and then it went down to just me.
I saw that.
And
I guess that must be Mike.
well, Mike was one of the 4, and then it went down to just me, and then now there are 2. So I don't know if it's Mikey or whom it is.
Have them open the chat and ask questions. I just did.
They can hear you.
Didn't I?
You
I
did.
swear to God, they can hear me.
Yes,
Oh, such a dumbass.
kind of. I mean, you're
All
not
right,
very
so I got a
tech
bunch of
savvy, so I can
stories.
see why it would confuse you.
Yeah. I got a bunch of. Oh, here's one about cutting the cord. Wonder why I didn't read this before I went into my cord cutting thing.
We just talked about cutting the cord.
Oh, they're just talking about Sling TV. Well, I covered
Yeah.
Sling TV.
We've already talked about that.
Yeah.
We're ahead of that.
The new YouTube app on the Apple TV is brilliant, and it's searchable using Siri. So I can hold down and say, Siri, search YouTube for P. Basardo, or search Siri for K-Fun 5 reviews, and it'll jump me straight to it. It's brilliant.
Nice.
It is a
It is
really lazy way to
Lazy
watch
man's
television.
TV. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
That is awesome.
I stayed up Thursday night, the whole night, watching watching Sky News. Sky News have an app on the Apple TV out of England. Sky News
Wow.
out of London. Yeah, so I stayed up the whole night watching the Brexit results come in on Sky News. Lost track of time completely. Even went to Quick Trip to get food at like 4 a.m. and came
Like
back
you
and kept
literally
watching.
stayed up all night.
Yeah, then went to work. Then left and went to work at 5:30. I was exhausted. Then went to work, came back, and then went to Thomas Chastain's campaign event and stayed out drinking with Tommy till like 2 a.m.
Oh my God. Oh,
I was
my
up for
Lord.
almost 48 hours straight. I was a
How's
mess.
Thomas doing?
Next Saturday, he's doing good.
Oh my
He's
God, then Saturday
going
was
to be
the
on
debate.
Mike's. Yeah, and then Saturday was the debate.
Sorry, Thomas
I was
is what?
not. He's on Mike's show tomorrow night
Oh, cool.
to talk about what I'm about to talk about when we come back from the break.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I was dragging Saturday night. I don't know if you were able
Wow.
to watch the debates,
I was
the live
not.
stream, but I was
I
not
don't know what I was.
100% on my. I was not 100% on my game.
I did something Saturday. I can't remember what I did. I don't know. I'm sure it's in my calendar
Yeah,
somewhere.
I guess I was up from 4:30 Thursday morning till 2-3 o'clock Saturday morning without any sleep.
Wow. Like no
Then I
nap,
got
no
like 4
nothing.
hours. Yeah, then I got like 4 hours sleep and did the debates on Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah, no nap in that time. It was just straight through. I'm hardcore.
Yeah, you are.
It was worth it though to see that Brexit vote come in because by 4 a.m. we knew
Yeah.
that Leave had won. That was
What was the
history.
margin? Like what would like people wise, numbers wise?
It was about 1.5 million votes, so it was 48 to 52. It was about a 4-point spread, which
Wow.
is as close as U.S. elections get these days.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a 4-point spread, 1.5 million voters, and it was that's Great Britain's Independence Day,
Yes. Yep.
That's their July 4th is what that'll go down in history as, when people start to see the benefits, when the fear subsides, or the uncertainty I should say subsides, and people start to see the benefits of this exit. They will celebrate that day the way we celebrate July 4th, and they did it peacefully. This was democracy at work, and it was a stunning example of democracy at work.
Right.
And now the government has to uphold their obligation now to actually withdraw from the EU. There are actually members of parliament who are saying the government should block it and not withdraw.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is there any way that it cannot happen?
Yeah, the parliament could block it. They could block it. They won't. Or at least they've said they won't. There are some politicians who want to block it, but it won't happen. No, Cameron will step down. Bojo will go present Article 50, and England will get the hell out. Great Britain, I should say, will get the hell out. Scotland, maybe they'll stay. Who knows? If they do, they'll regret it.
How can they stay?
They will have to hold another referendum for independence from the United Kingdom. I can't remember what they call her. They're Sturgeon, whatever her name is. Rebecca Sturgeon is their. She has a title, chancellor or some bullshit like that. She will. She's going to petition the Parliament for a second referendum on Scottish independence. The last one failed. The Scots voted to remain in the United Kingdom. That was 2 years ago. That was in 2014. One of the deals for them staying was that if there were any substantive changes in relations between England, Great Britain, and the EU, that they would be allowed to ask for another referendum. So I imagine they'll get it. It'll take a couple of years for it to come to fruition, at which point the United Kingdom will have left the EU, and then Scotland will leave the UK, and we'll have to petition the EU to
get back
rejoin
in
the EU.
Oh.
Yeah.
But by that time,
that'll be a
things will have
disaster.
settled. Things will have settled down by then, right? So
Yeah, by that time, the Scottish people will be saying, no, we don't want to leave the UK. They're fucking rich.
right.
Great Britain has rich as balls. My language has been bad tonight.
Do what?
My language has been a bit off color tonight.
It has. And during your EU rant, it was a little douchebaggy. So you need to come up with different adjectives for the prime minister. You need to practice
Wimp
that.
is wimp. Coward is a good word for the
before you go and
minister.
address the GOP.
Yeah, maybe.
We could just refer to him as a Democrat, and then that would.
I don't know how Republicans here feel about Brexit. I'm not really sure what the sentiment is. Obviously, the progressive liberal media were all about the EU and about staying in the EU, and now they're trying to instill panic and fear in. Oh, we're going back live.
Okay.
Well, I was just sat there listening to bumper music play, not realizing that I'm supposed to be back on there. So,
not realizing what the bumper music was indicating.
Yeah, here we are back live. All right. So what's next? What are we going to talk about? What do you have?
You are going to talk about security.
Security. That's right. So on Thursday, Thomas Chastain, he's running for a post 1 commissioner as a Republican. He has organized an event. It's called, I guess I should look up the actual name of this thing. But it's a community watch security type thing. It's called Rockdale Community Crime Watch Forum. There are going to be, the sheriff's going to be there. The Rockdale Sheriff's Office will be there showing you how to join the new Rockdale Crime Watch Network, how to better protect your home and family, how to organize your neighborhood watch program, and to report property crime and suspicious activity. The guest speakers are, Thomas is one of the speakers, Oz Nesbitt, I believe Senator Van Ness, and me are going to be guest speakers at this thing. Now, I'm going to be talking about 2 issues. Well, one issue primarily, I'm going to touch on 2. I'm going to touch on home defense with a handgun, but I'm just going to cover the important parts of that, basically gun safety, training, and storage and security. But I'm going to touch on the cheap consumer electronic devices that have come onto the market for home security, internet connected cameras, do-it-yourself security systems and things like that. Stuff we've talked about here on the show. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm going to talk about that. It'll probably take 10, 15 minutes. I don't know. I don't know how long this event's supposed. 6 till 8. So a couple of hours, 4 speakers. So maybe 20, 30 minutes a piece. I'm sure I can fill 30 minutes talking about security technology. So that's what I'll be talking about. But that's what that's for. And we encourage people to come out. It's at the VFW on VFW Drive on Thursday, this Thursday, the 30th of June, from 6 till 8 p.m. Come on out and listen, because here's the thing. The police, the sheriff, isn't there to keep us safe. That's not his job. The Supreme Court have decided in their wisdom, and they're absolutely right, actually, that law enforcement are under no obligation to keep us safe and prevent crime. Their job is to respond to crime, to catch the criminal, and to get a conviction. That's their job. I hear people complain that burglaries have actually been on the rise in Rockdale County. And it's on the rise because burglars know which houses to target. And they know that their likelihood of actually getting caught is almost zero, simply because there won't be any evidence of the crime, right? People say, well, the police came by, but they said there's nothing they can do. Well, why can't they get fingerprints and shit like that? Well, first of all, it costs thousands of dollars in time and equipment and forensic experts to come in and go over a house for fingerprints, only to find that the burglar wore gloves, or everything that he touched he took with him and stole. And they spend thousands of dollars lifting fingerprints from a residence to find out they still have no evidence. Well, we're not willing to foot that bill as taxpayers, quite frankly. We're not willing to do it. So the burden is on you, the resident, the citizen of Rockdale. The burden is on you to make your home safer and to make your community safer, and to make sure that if the worst does happen, that you're able to provide evidence to the police so that they can investigate your crime. The best evidence you can give them is video evidence. That if somebody robs your home and you're able to provide the police a high def video of the people that did it, the police will catch them. With social media today and the way they share these mugshots and these videos, they will catch them. Especially if you as the homeowner or your insurance company put up a reward for their capture, they will be caught. You may not get your stuff back. In fact, 90% of the time, you are not going to recover your stuff that was stolen, but you might get some justice. Okay. If you believe you're going to get your TV back, you're living in a dream world. It's not going to happen. These guys take them, they'll move them, they'll have cash, and you won't ever see your stuff back. Very rarely. But there are things you can do. You can start by installing some video cameras in your home so that you have evidence to provide to the police. A second thing you can do is make a list of the serial numbers of everything you own, just in case they show up in pawn shops, and keep that list in a safe deposit box, or you make a digital list, do it in an application, and make sure it's uploaded in the cloud somewhere. Something you need to do for your insurance company is every 6 months, go around your house and make a video of everything you own, and make sure it's on videotape. Walk up to your TV and film it. Walk up to all your electronics, all of your jewelry, your guns, anything of value to you. Make sure it's documented on film and store that video in the cloud so that you can never lose it. Put it up on Google Photos or somewhere securely on Dropbox. Put it in Dropbox and make sure it's there. And every 6 months, make a new video so that you're documenting all of the new stuff that you've purchased. That way, when the insurance company questions you and you make a list of what was stolen, you can actually show them, yes, I owned it. Here it is. Here, keep your receipts, obviously. All of my receipts, I scan electronically. I use my phone. I use an app called Scanner Pro by Readdle. And it takes a photograph of the receipt, it turns it into a PDF, and it automatically sends it to Dropbox. So I have all my receipts for large purchases like electronics. I have them all scanned. They're all in Dropbox. If I ever need to produce them for an insurance company, I can. Things I don't have receipts for, I have photographic and video documentation with me in the video saying, yep, I'm Alex McDonald. I live at this address. This is my blah, blah, blah. This is, I don't know, for example, this is my collection of diamonds, right? These are my uncut diamonds, which I sourced legally out of Antwerp. Don't have a receipt, but here they are. Obviously, I don't have a source for uncut diamonds. I wish I did, but I don't. But there's an example of evidence that you can have to protect yourself in the event something happens. Because like I said, the odds of getting your stuff given back to you are near zero. It's next to nil. Some may turn up in a storage locker somewhere if they catch the criminals. Some may turn up in pawn shops. More likely than not, it's been sold out of the back of a van, and the cash that the criminal got for it has already been spent on, whatever. I don't know, weed. whatever criminals buy with their money. Probably Bentleys and Ferraris.
Probably uncut diamonds from Antwerp.
Exactly, uncut diamonds from Antwerp. So it's up to us as the community to police our communities. The police aren't going to be there 24/7. It's unrealistic to believe they are. The police do not deter crime. The police solve crime. That's their job. It's up to us to deter crimes. So organize your neighborhood. Organize a neighborhood watch. And it doesn't have to be your George Zimmerman neighborhood watch. All it has to be is your neighbors looking out their windows if they hear something or if they see a suspicious vehicle. That's all it needs to be. And report that to the police. And if the police start getting a lot of reports from one particular area, then they're going to start sending patrols over, because they're going to think, they're going to have a suspicion that activity is increasing in this zone. They can send patrols over on a regular basis, which then will act as another deterrent. I guess in that sense, the police can deter crime, but that's not their function. You deter crime in your neighborhoods. You and your neighbors do it. You deter crime by installing a security system and making it known that you have a security system. They all come with yard signs. They all come with these labels for your doors and windows. If you have a video camera system that streams its video to the internet, no one's going to break into your damn house. Because they know they're going to, well, unless they're wearing masks and shit. And if they do that, then, those are the kind of people that will never be deterred regardless. And that's why you need to have a gun. Again, that's when I'll get into that. But it's up to us. We have to do the work, and we have to be able to provide the police with the evidence that they need in order to get these people taken off the streets. The police are not miracle workers. They don't walk on water. They're not Jesus. They're men and women in uniform that know how to do their jobs, and their jobs is catching criminals based on the evidence they're presented with. You have to present them with that evidence. It's up to us. There are many affordable options now for home security. You don't need a professional. There's nothing wrong with a professional company coming in and installing a good system for you and charging you 30, 40, 50 bucks a month. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a valid business. But there are much more affordable options available to you that you can do for yourself. You can monitor for yourself. My security camera system streams all of its video to the cloud, sends me alerts if it detects any activity. It sends me alerts if it detects change in air quality, in room temperature, in humidity, if it detects noises. It detects things that some of the most expensive high-tech security systems don't detect, right? A change in air quality. If somebody comes in wearing a shitty cologne, it will send me an alert because it will detect that in the air. That is pretty freaking high tech. Did you see what I'm saying?
That's amazing. Yeah.
And these systems are affordable to most people. I say most because they're not affordable to everybody. A system like mine is $200 per camera. But then you can buy systems on Amazon that come with a DVR and 4 cameras for 150 bucks. They won't have any of the other features to them. They won't have the humidity and temperature and air quality monitoring, but they'll have motion detection. They'll record video, and they'll send you alerts to your phone. And you can get into a system like that for 150 bucks. You install it yourself. You make the cameras point at the most vulnerable areas, and you secure your home. And then you put the sign in your yard and the stickers on your doors and windows, and you let people know that if you break into this house, there's a 90% chance you are going to get caught. And that's the message it sends. When you're proactive and you proactively protect your home, and especially if you're proactive as a community, as a neighborhood, and you proactively protect your neighborhood, your crime rates plummet. Your crime rates go through the floor. And that's what you have to do. That's all you can do to protect yourselves. And it's by far the best thing you can do to protect yourselves. So I would highly recommend that people go along on Thursday. Come and listen to everybody talk. Come listen to the sheriff's office talk. Come listen to me. Come listen to me. Whatever. It's going to be a good source of information. It may give you some ideas. Get your homeowners association chiefs, whatever they're called these days, presidents, to come along, and let's start policing Rockdale County together as a community to make it safer. Because as good a job as the sheriff has done in reducing crime, there are some crimes they just can't reduce. So burglaries are up to us. They're up to us to reduce those crimes. If you notice the businesses that have been broken into in Rockdale County, they all have security cameras. And whenever they're broken into, the sheriff gets that video. And within a few days, those people are caught. Those people are caught, or at the very least, they're identified. And once they're identified, they're never coming back to Rockdale. They may get picked up into DeKalb a couple of months later. But in general, this sheriff has these people in custody within a few days. Their closure record is for like commercial burglaries. The Rockdale County Sheriff's closure record is really good, but it's because those businesses are proactive and they have the technology in place to provide the sheriff with the evidence that he needs in order to actually solve these crimes. And we have to do it. As residents, it's unfortunate that as a society in America as a whole, it's unfortunate that these crimes are that prevalent that we have to take these steps, but we do. And your simple, I'm going to buzz alarm, just doesn't cut it these days. You have to have video security. You have to be able to provide the police with video evidence for them to catch these people. And I'll talk about some of the options available to you, the brands, the prices, their installation and setup. I'll talk about that on Thursday. So if you want to come along and get some information on protecting yourselves, be there, or be square.
You did not.
I said it.
Oh.
Be there or be square. All right, we're coming up on a break. Actually, you know what? Let's end this early. Let's end this at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just going to stretch this out until 9 o'clock. All right. So now let's move on to the tech stories you had.
Sure. What did you have some drone stuff? I mentioned I had a little story about.
Yes, so the FDA finalized its regulation, not the FDA, the FAA finalized its regulations for unmanned aerial vehicles, which includes drones over 0.5 pound and weighing less than 55 pounds. So anything in that range. So that covers my drone. And when the regulations went live, I was a bit nervous because it called for licensing and background checks and stuff like that. But in a second document that was buried in, I posted it on Facebook, the document number, the chapter, the paragraph, section, subsection, buried in that, the regulations only apply to commercial pilots. So if you're using a drone for commercial purposes and making money, these regulations apply to you. You will now have to become licensed to fly a drone. That is going to require taking a government test. It's going to require getting training, passing an exam to prove that you can be a licensed pilot, paying the fees, getting registered with the government, and obeying all of their rules and regulations. And you will be licensed as a UAV pilot, a certified UAV pilot. If you are a kid flying around in your backyard, you don't have to do this. If you're me going out and filming events for no money whatsoever, I don't have to do this. I'm doing this, for my show. I'll do it for my show, my time, at my expense. So I get to do it without having to be licensed. I will, of course, have to obey all the rules. They set a 400 foot, maximum ceiling. No flight over people in some you can fly over people in certain circumstances. I believe if everybody at the event is aware you're going to be flying a drone, you're allowed to fly over them, that kind of thing. Still, obviously, no flight within 5 miles of an airport without permission from the tower. No out of sight flight, so no FPV flight. And what that means is I can fly my drone, a mile away from me,
Okay.
and fly by the camera, the video feed that's sent back to me. I can watch on my iPad and I can fly that way. That will now be against the rules. You always have to have the drone within line of sight. So that's going to affect a lot of people with the things they do. Because of a lot of the cinematography that's done is actually flown out of sight of the operator.
Right.
So that the operator's not in the film or anything like that. So that's going to affect some of that. Again, not in a major way. They can work around it, and they're going to have to work around it to stay within the regulations. So yeah, those were the regulations that dropped. If you're commercial, if you fly for money, if you're using a drone and making money, you're now going to have to be a licensed pilot.
Interesting.
Just
yeah, I had the
it's
little
not as simple as just registering.
blurb about the Iraqis using drones for I guess to collect intel. They're using the hobby and toy store drones, like the DJI Phantom
the
line.
Phantom.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, the Phantom. It's my drone is a DJI Phantom.
Okay. Yeah, to observe ISIS and to call in artillery strikes. Because I guess they're not getting they don't have the money to buy like the military grade drone. So they're using these little guys to fly and collect intel. So that's what brought that all up.
Yeah, and it makes sense. It makes sense because they're very powerful. Mine has a 4K camera. It gets fantastic video. You can fly it high enough that they can't hear you. And it'll stay in the air for 20 minutes. Of course you can use it for surveillance.
Exactly. I think what they said was they're getting about 40 minutes out of it, but that's all they need. That it crashes or gets shut down or whatever. But by then they've gotten the information they need and they go back to the toy store. My other
as well.
Go ahead. What? I'm sorry. What did you say?
I say terrorists will start using them as well.
Yes, which is horrifying.
Terrorists will start strapping a kilo of C4 to the bottom of their drones, flying them into the windows of hospitals in Israel, and detonating them. You wait and see; it's going to happen.
Well, and
now Israel, thankfully, have wonderful air defense systems, and I think we'll be able to put a stop to it. But that's a huge concern with security forces around the globe right now, is that terrorists are going to start using these drones and strapping, because it doesn't take much C4 to bring down a building, right?
Right.
I think a pound of C4 will bring down, it'll do a shit ton of damage to a good building. Let's put it that way. And and a drone can carry a pound of C4. Just need some kind of remote trigger.
Any kind of, explosive device strapped onto a drone and flown into the middle of a crowd.
Yeah.
So,
it's a scary prospect.
Yeah, it's horrifying. And there was mention of that in this article, just, one quick sentence, but yeah, it's horrifying.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yes.
So I don't blame the FAA for having regulations. I will obey by the regulations. I won't have to be a licensed pilot. I am registered. I registered with the FAA. I have my registration number. It is clearly displayed on my aircraft. I obey their flight rules. The last thing I did was the memorial ride for Brian Mahaffey. I didn't fly above 150 feet. I didn't fly near or over people. I kept it between people, so to speak, and then a radius around the people. I flew above vehicles, but I told everybody in the parade, this is what I'm going to be doing. I had permission from the sheriff to do it, to hover over the road while the vehicles passed under the drone. So I had permission to do all that. So I followed the regulations to a T, and I will continue to, because it's the right thing to do, because people could panic. If you're let's say you're in Centennial Park and somebody flies a drone overhead, it could get you a bit worried, right?
Oh yeah.
You're going to want to let the organizers know what's going on.
Right. Yeah,
So
who you are and where you're from.
Yeah, if you plan on filming any kind of event, even for your own personal use, even if it's hobbyist, go to the organizers of that event and get their permission and let them know what you're going to be doing so that they can notify the crowd so that nobody in the crowd starts to panic. That would be my advice. All right. What else?
I mean, I got a couple things. The earbuds. Should we talk about the MeQ earbuds?
Yeah, go on. You talk about those.
So I read an article about these new earbuds. They're called Even, is the name of the earbuds, EVEN, and they're by a company called MeQ. And they refer to them as earphones. They're like in-ear earphones, and they actively sense your hearing ability and tailor sound accordingly for a fully personalized listening experience. And how it works is when you first put them in, you go through this little 2-minute hearing test by pressing it's got like an inline microphone. So you press the button when you hear certain tones, and it does 8 tones in each ear. And what it's doing is setting up what it calls your ear print, like your fingerprint, but it's your ear print. And then once your ear print is set, the built-in equalizer adjusts the sound to your personal audio profile. So it boosts and lowers the frequencies to adjust for how you hear.
I think this is amazing. Now, here's the thing. I thought I was reading about these today. I was reading an article on a new pair of earbuds from a new company, and they mentioned these sound tailoring earbuds in their story. And they said the ones I was reading about were $200, and they said they were half the price of the sound tailoring earbuds. So that would make those $400. The ones you found that do the exact same thing, how much do they cost?
$99.
$99. And so obviously it's not the same ones I was reading about. It's another company that's put out a set of earbuds that uses an app, runs through some hearing tests, tailors the sound specifically to your personalized hearing, because everyone's hearing is different, right?
Right.
Some people's hearing's great, some's bad. Mine's shit. My hearing's terrible because of gunshots.
Right. And your hearing is different in each of your ears. So
yes, I hear frequencies differently in each ear. Yeah.
So these earbuds,
I think it's amazing. I want to try them, but you have some on order, you said.
Correct. I ordered them like an hour before the show started when I was reading the article. I couldn't stand it. I could not order them. So yeah, I have them on order. I don't know. I know you were about to ask.
When do you forward? Okay.
I'm sorry, what? Were you going to say, when do I get them?
When do you get them, and when do you send them on to me?
Right.
Is what I was going to ask.
So I don't know when I get them. I have my order confirmation. When I forward them on to you is the second day after Hell Freeze is over.
Okay, that's what I figured. So
that'll be easy.
Soon.
Right.
Yeah, so fairly soon then. Okay. No, I'm really curious to how they work.
Yes.
And if you, like I said, do a side-by-side comparison with some other earbuds or headphones you have, preferably with everything you have.
Yeah.
Just with this, like this, I would do it with the same song and, pop out, plug in another, see if there's a difference. And because I'm always in the market. Go on.
I'll do over-ear earphones as well as in-ears and see, because Kurt's got like the high-tech Bose. So so I'll mess around and see how they compare.
Well, see, my good earbuds are all made by Shure, and they're relatively expensive, but they're expensive because they're very good. They have excellent drivers and sound reproduction capability.
Well, I tell you what,
I love them, but they are expensive.
I have Bose earbuds that are the same price point as these, so I can compare those. The Bose and these MeQ ones at that price point and see.
Gotcha.
See how they stack up.
interesting to see. Be interesting to see how a sound tailored $99 set of earbuds do compared to a non-tailored $200 pair of earbuds.
Right. Or $100
And
because
that's what I would like.
they're
Well,
the
whatever.
same.
Mine are
Yeah.
like, mine I think are $299 a set, $299 a set. So that's why I'm
Right,
saying
but that's what I'm
forward
saying.
your-
I have the Bose ones that are at that price point, so I think it's a more fair comparison.
Oh yeah,
the
but
price-
I also want to compare them against the real high-end stuff. Because here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that by tailoring the sound the way they do, I'm thinking they're going to end up with a sound reproduction that's almost equal to the very expensive ones.
Right.
That's my hunch. That's what
Right.
I'm thinking. Because theoretically, it'll be tailored to your hearing.
Right.
Therefore, it should
Right.
be the best for your
Yep.
ears.
I agree.
Right. Whereas my real expensive earbuds, they're not tailored to my hearing. They're
Right.
tailored to, your average person's idea of perfect hearing.
Right.
I have a feeling these cheaper earbuds will do a better job than the real expensive ones. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I understand.
I know,
yes.
obviously, I know the best comparison is a price to price
Right.
like comparison.
Right.
I just happen to think they'll fare
Gotcha.
very well up against real expensive headphones.
Yeah, I just don't have really
Earphones.
expensive. Like those are my best in-ears is those Bose ones. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand. I get you. That's why I'm saying
they're
you
not-
could forward them
and they're
to me. I
not
could
cat
test them
ears,
and
so
send
they're
them
not
back.
even that cool. They don't light up.
Right.
They don't.
Well, put it this way: if you're not overly impressed, forward them on to me. I'll test them and then send them back to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I trust you.
All
Mm-hmm.
right.
I know where to find you. Just remember
right.
that. I'll send my
Anything
boy
else?
military Mike after you.
Fat Mike or Husky Mike. Sorry.
Stop
Soon
that.
to be not Fat Mike. Less
I have
Fat
other
Mike.
stuff, but I know you want to wrap up. So those were my
Hey,
big
listen,
stories.
I'm going to pay. He was picking on ugly women the other day, so I'm going to pick on him for being fat.
Was he really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was talking about ugly women. I'm not sure why. And I don't think he was actually pointing to anyone in particular. He didn't say a particular person. He was just generally being disparaging of ugly women, whatever that means.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean,
Facebook
we're
launching
all
a
ugly.
save and
We're all
share.
ugly to someone.
I'm changing the subject. Facebook
Go on.
launching a save and share extension for Chrome. So
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, for Chrome browser.
Have you seen that? So I guess wherever you're surfing, you can.
Yeah, I imagine it's going to put now I have Chrome already has plugins for this, third-party plugins that you can install and add to your taskbar. I guess Facebook are just going to add an official Chrome extension, a Chrome plugin to do the same job. I don't have experience with the Facebook one. No, has it been released yet?
I think so. It says Facebook launches save and share extension. I guess I could have known that.
I have experience with a third-party Twitter one, and I tried a Facebook one once, and it was very unreliable. Hopefully, the official Facebook extension will work better and be more reliable. The one I have for Twitter, though, it works great. I'm browsing a web page. I hit the tweet this button, and it composes a tweet and sends it for me.
It says just
works
announced
fantastic.
the launch. So yeah, I'm guessing they've announced it. So whether they've launched it already, I've got some that, like I've got a Pinterest one. I have a Pocket one that work. I mean, they work well. So I mean, I guess there is potential for it to work well.
Yeah. Hey, now here's a question. Have you ever used Chrome on iOS? Have you used the Chrome browser on iOS?
Yeah, it's what I use on
my question. You don't use Safari, you use Chrome. Does
Correct.
the Chrome browser on iOS support extensions? Do they have extensions? Do you know?
Yes.
I've never used it on iOS. It does. Really?
I'm opening it right now to make sure that I am not speaking out of turn.
I may have to look into if
It
that's
might
the case, I
not.
may have to
You know
look
what?
into Chrome.
It might not. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know if it does or not.
Okay. Well, way to get my hopes up there.
Right? Oh, dude, I'm a
I know.
tease. You know that about me. I'm a tease.
Mm. Well, now you have to send me those earbuds to test because of that. That's going to be your penance. Penance?
It's got
What's the word?
penance.
Penance. Thank you. I think that's what I said first, but it supports extension. Interesting.
Chrome would like to access. Don't allow that. This is going to make horrible radio, but can you see? I have to show you my screen. The little up arrow right there.
Yes. Yeah.
That takes me, like, I can pin from there. Does that count? Like, I can go, like, I can put stuff in pocket from there. See,
yeah,
and
no,
it says
that's the
save to
built-in
pocket.
iOS. Yeah, no, that's the built-in iOS share sheet. By the way, that's where you would share links to a note. Is in
Okay,
there.
good to know. I had no idea what you were talking about before. I was just faking it.
Yeah. Okay, whenever you see that up arrow in any application, that's the built-in iOS share sheet, and you can share all over the place. You can customize that list of where you can share. One of the options is open in, and it will open any app on your iOS device. So you can share from anywhere to anywhere in iOS using open in, which is great, which is why I'm having so much luck with Google Photos, because I can be on Google Photos and say, oh, I want to edit this in whatever, Pixelmator.
Oh,
and
gotcha.
I can say open. Yeah, I can say, oh, open in Pixelmator, and it will get it from Google Photos. Then I can do the edit and then save it back. So it's not an ideal. It's not as seamless as, say, using an Android phone, because it seems to share pretty seamlessly amongst apps. But it's real handy regardless. But yeah, that's the iOS share sheet. So now when I say that, you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. I don't have to fake it anymore.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. You won't have to fake it anymore. I'm locked on your video for some reason. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. We're going to say goodnight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Again, come out Thursday. Come to the Crime Watch community thingy. I haven't even read the event description. I just read the poster. I should look into this. I got to prepare something to say.
You probably should. Or at least learn the name of it, not Crime Watch thingy.
That's right.
McGruff the crime dog.
Tommy. Yeah, I should get the name right. Community Crime Watch something. Tommy, the organizer, he's running for post 1, a Republican candidate for Board of Commissioners post 1. He will be on Mike's show tomorrow. He'll also be talking about it. I reached out to Tommy and I said, Tommy, have your talking points ready, because Mike never prepares for an interview. So anyway, he'll be on Mike's show tomorrow. That will be The World According to Fat Mike tomorrow. Twatf Mike. That's tomorrow at 7. Thursday is Roughage with Jacob. Rough Edge with Jacob.
Why are you being so mean about our
back
friends?
On the air yet? Do we know?
I don't know.
Is latest? Okay, I don't know if it's back on the air yet, because school is still out. From what I understand. Right. And the morning show tomorrow. That's it. We're done. Thank you everybody for listening. Danielle, go ahead and take us out.
That's it. Y'all find us on the social medias. I am Tech Danielle on Facebook and Twitter. Alex is Xander Mac on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. He's Xander Mac missing a letter. So we're still offering a prize if you find him on there. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Tech Talk out.
Bye. All right, we're done there. I got to get some food. I'm starving.
Yeah, me too. And I got to pee. I forgot to pee on that last pee break.
Yeah, I have to pee. I have to get food. And
we're a mess. We're a mess. And we're still live on the YouTubes.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it.